Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Buy Round Interview Show. Today I'm joined by a man who it's quite difficult to put together a bit of an intro piece on, but and difficult to describe. Dally M winner, over 200 games. Unfortunately, I guess there's always an issue that comes up. We're joined by none other than Todd Carney.
Thanks for having me, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Really do appreciate you coming on. Obviously, we're going to have a little look back. But what about the present moment? What's Todd Carney up to these days? You're still playing, right?
Yeah, I still play. Like I touched on before, that when I first retired, and then 2017, I took a job at Byron to captain coach, and I've just stayed in it. I don't coach no more. I just play. With this year, I just played. And I don't know, I just seem to say I won't do it, and then all of a sudden I'm there ready to chuck the jumper on round one. So, but it's coming to an end. I know that. This year I end up playing a fair bit of hooker. I don't know if that's telling me that I'm too slow for the halves. I got burnt on the outside a few times. And then, outside of that, I live on the Gold Coast now. Got two kids. I've got my little boy is 2.5, a stepdaughter, she's 8, and my partner Susie, and I work at a school called Men of Business for year 11, 12 boys. A lot of them disengaged. They either slipped through the mainstream cracks of school, or just school's not for them, and our school is. They get the QCE. If they want to go to uni, they can do that. But a lot of it is just for us to get them engaged, get them through school as best they can, and give them an opportunity to experience school, but also get them a job when they leave. So we've got a fair few on track to graduate this year. I love it there. A lot of the boys at that age don't know who I am or my past life. So when I do tell them about it, and I share openly about it, because when I get vulnerable, they can understand that everyone lives a different life, and they think just rugby league's highs and lows, and that's it. Where my story, as you know, is different to some rugby league players, and all from my own wrongdoing. But it's a good story to tell them, to get their confidence and get their trust that I'm there to help them, not just to tell them what to do.
Yeah, a little bit of relatability as well. Like,
yeah,
I'm not you didn't have a red carpet walk through life.
No.
You still you had a great life as well. Like, you got to, like say, play 200 games, win a Dally M, but it wasn't all smooth sailing.
No.
But you're an example of, someone that can navigate those rough seas at times. And I guess those impressionable sort of year 12 lads would just be hanging off you every word.
Yeah, so I run the rugby league program, which we've got 30 boys this year. A few of them don't even play club footy. A few do, and we've got some talented kids there. But when I first started at school, I was just in and out a few days a week, and I'd just be in the classroom. And I went to one of my bosses and said, the classroom's not for me, because I actually didn't know what they were doing. I was hopeless at school, and then I'm trying to sit there and explain how to do something in the class. And then we put together a rugby league program, and that's pretty much
right, okay.
It's pretty much, obviously. We've got the resources, we've got the gym, we've got obviously myself. Clinton O'Brien used to play for Newcastle. He's on the staff at school. He runs a driving school, but he helps out with the rugby league program. So they do everything the same. Similar to what they do at Keeper, they do a testing system. They do all their like fitness tests, skin fold, weights tests, go through a pre-season, get super fit as much as they can, and then we start playing in the Titans Cup Wednesday night. So it's good for them. They get their own uniform, and they make them feel like they're a part of something. And
that's big, right?
Yeah.
For them to feel connected to something bigger than themselves.
And that's right. And some of these boys didn't go to school for half a day, but they turn up to all our rugby league classes. And I sometimes look and go, well, we're doing something right if we're getting there just for that. And if that's all it is, they come for rugby league, have some food and go home. That's better than what they were doing previously. And I didn't realise that until I'd done a parent-teacher, which is strange, me sitting in a class at school doing parent-teacher nights. And I felt a bit uncomfortable because my parent-teacher nights were like, oh, Todd's got ants in his pants. He doesn't listen. All he wants to do is play footy. Where I'm getting the other side of what the boys that are sitting with me, and then seeing them with their parents, just very quiet to what they are when we've got them at school in the rugby league program. They're completely different, as you do when your parents sit next to you. And then listening to their side of the story and stuff. And then when I walk off, I'm like, I got home like that night after doing it, and my perspective of the boys changed, that I need to just give them sometimes a hug, or just chuck the hand on their shoulder and say, I'm here to help you. I'm more here to support you, good or bad. Whatever you tell me is a vault. Like, I don't need to express whatever. Some of them just come to me and pour their stuff out. Some just come and tell me to shut up. They know the bubbler now. And some of them just like, they start to get cheeky, which I'm fine with, because it's a relationship.
Yeah, a little bit of banter.
Yeah, similar to as we do in the footy sheds. Like, you walk past, clip them under the ear and walk off.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will be looking, going, you shouldn't be doing that. But that's my relationship with them now, and that's how I can get the best out of them. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. That, like, I'm just trying to think back to like sort of my parent teacher things, and you're right. You'd be very different to what you are like when you're in class and you're that like bit of a larrikin.
Yeah. And what they would tell their parents what they're like. And
yeah.
Obviously I've got it in front of me on the computer of this is his attendance, he's not great in this area, and they're looking at him going, he's like, what did you say that? And well, that's what it's about. It's about a lot of it at that age is ownership, and getting through it. And then trying to obviously not sort of tell too much of the side to their parents, because obviously for me, I need the boys' trust.
Yeah.
I need to be able to them to trust who I am, that they can come to me in any situation, if it's anything, if they're out on the weekend, they've done something wrong or they need something, they can come to me and say, Todd, can I have a chat to you? And if I can get that out of them, I've done my job in that area for the boys anyway, because like I say to them, I'm like a big brother. I'm not a teacher. We've got teachers there to actually teach you to like the education and stuff, but I'm there for the rugby league program and there to purely be a mentor about life.
Yeah, it'd be so important for those, like those impressionable kids to have someone like yourself to bounce things off. That, like I say, that relatability part is massive.
And a lot of it is, and it's the boys. But some of them don't have father figures. Some don't have to be taught how to have a shave or like hygiene and stuff like that. And that's some things you talk about with them. And that's, I walk away and like think to myself, how lucky am I to have that? And some people just don't have it. And that's shouldn't be bad against them. It should be, well, we've got to understand that they don't have that father figure in their life. Let's give them a little bit of care. Chuck your arm around his shoulder and say, come for a walk with me. Teach him how to have a coffee or go to a shopping centre and how to live. And then, like, but if they don't have that, they're starting beyond the eight ball. Like,
I guess it's a lot. It's little skills like that most people just take for granted.
That's right.
But there's so many youngsters that don't have that positive role model to just, can you say, teach them the basics?
That's right.
Like the basic life skills, like how to have a shit. Like all these like weird little things, like how to navigate, how you should, stand up straight, have your shoulders back, like, how to present yourself.
Leave the dinner to, like, they have breakfast and lunch at the school. We've got a Fijian community that's in the kitchen, and they're obviously big on manners and stuff. Like, when you leave the table, clean the plate, push your chair in. Do you think it happens? And sometimes I'm the one that doesn't push my chair, and she's like, "What are you doing?" Like, you're meant to. But it's just sometimes you don't think about it. But when you do it, or you watch boys do it, it's like they're starting to get it, and that's just a small win. Where before they'd just get up, leave their plate.
Someone else.
I guess and you know what? Someone else does clean it.
Yeah.
The ladies in the kitchen clean it, but if you're at home on your own, when you move out of home or wherever you're living, and you leave the plate there, it's gonna pile up because someone's there not to clean it.
And it's just those little things that make such a difference.
Yeah.
And like whether it's at home, like doing all those little things before you know it, all those little things add up. Then your home environment isn't as productive as what it should be. It affects other areas of your life. You become a bit of living like as my dad would say, a dosser.
Yeah.
Or even then how you like, and you're not doing this because people do judge you, but like, it's how to behave. Like you never know who you're going to be with, like whether you're applying for a job, meeting a girl, meeting a boy, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But it's like those little things.
Yeah.
They make a difference. If you're just like free plate, then or just leave it.
Yeah.
That impacts your opportunities moving forward. And this isn't to like appease, a potential boss or a coach or whoever it may be, but those little things they add up and they make a massive difference.
Yeah. And Brian, you know what? Brian Smith taught me that. When I was at the Roosters with Brian, it was in 2011. Mine and Piercy, I'll more talk on myself, but I started to slip away from how I was going, and he took us to our cars and said, "I bet your cars are messy." Mine was a write-off. Piercy's was a write-off, and he goes, "You just need to clean your car first." And then he goes, "When you clean your car, clean your bedroom at home, everything else starts to become better." And he was right. Fuck that, my car wasn't clean.
Yeah. But it's interesting that I listened to, I don't know if you've heard him before, Jordan Peterson. He often says, like, make your bed.
Yeah.
Just clean your room, make your bed every single morning.
Yeah.
And if that, it's just a bit of structure, you start your day, you know exactly what you're doing. And then even no matter what happens in your day, you finish the day with a freshly made bed. Yeah. It's not like...
There's one of those motivational talks on Instagram, a reel that pops up, and there's a guy talks about it. It's powerful.
It is, and it's the small things that make a huge difference in a young person. Well, in anybody's life.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
It's not. This isn't about youth. It's about everybody.
Yeah.
No doubt, me missus will be listening to this. Make the bed. Like, come on, mate. Don't you? You're a bullshitter.
Yeah.
How much do you think you would have benefited from this Todd Carney being involved in the young Todd Carney's life?
Just stuff like watching something like the make your bed thing. I wouldn't have watched it. I would have just scrolled past it. That doesn't interest me. Yeah. It doesn't. You wouldn't have listened. No, I wouldn't have played any part in my life.
So how? Well, sorry to just skip in there. How did you get those young kids to listen to you now? Because if you're saying you wouldn't have listened, you obviously you found a way to engage that youth, to have them listen to you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't have listened to it on your phone.
Yeah.
But you found a way.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're doing now that you could have, say, if you pulled up a simulation, you bring the Todd Carney now at 37, 38 into the Todd Carney at, that impressionable teenager or late teen or early 20s?
Well, just getting their trust, like I said, making sure you care is the main thing. Saying hello to them when you first get to school, being there and being present. Like I mentioned before, I've changed my life completely in the last 7 months with not drinking. And that's been a big change, not just for myself or my family or like my close family, but for the school, for the boys. Because I'm present, like I can be there every minute of the day for the whole time I'm at school. Where if I was before that, like if I had drank on the weekend, Monday I was a shell of the person I am on Thursday. So they would, you notice that as boys or as adults or as men, you notice if like your mates or someone close to you isn't tracking well. And I know sometimes we get to the point and go, oh, you didn't know. But if my best mate or someone close to me is struggling, I'll know. Like I've got a relationship that I'll know. So that's where I think I'm starting to get it with the boys is that I'm an open book to them. I can be vulnerable with them. I can be the coach. I can be the mentor. But then I can be their mate. I can have a laugh with them. I'll probably give them a little bit of leeway. But also that we've got to understand that if they rip in at training, I'm happy. And some of them know that they're not going to make footy. They don't want to make footy, but they want to feel like that they're getting cared for as I would if I was coaching a professional, like a young kid that wants to make it to take it to the next level. And
being involved in youth and in football, I always think it's not about making the next Super League player, the next NRL player, the next Origin or Australian or Great Britain or New Zealand, whatever, international. It's about making them better people.
That's exactly right. And that's all the only way I know. That's when, like, Marco, the founder of the school, come to me after the second year of me just in and out. He goes, like, I want to find a role for you. And I said, all I know is rugby league. And he goes, right, let's try and put a rugby league program in. And I'm getting better at it. Like, I'm still navigating through it, navigating how to work a computer and writing out notes and stuff like that. But all I think about is how to get the boys better or how to make the program better, like getting better kids in not better kids in for the school to be better, but better kids that play football for the boys to be around. I can navigate that and sort of be that presence, but having kids that want to strive to be better will make our boys be better on the field. So too, because you want to win.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you try and create with the way I train the boys, is you just beat your score, not anyone else's.
Be the best version of yourself.
Like, if we've got to do a 30-second effort on the bike, we're not doing 25 seconds, we're doing 30 seconds. We're smashing it out and then get off when you're done. I'm not asking you to do 3 minutes, that's 30 seconds. And it might come up at the end of the session, boys, just do this. Some boys, I'm not doing that. Like we went away, we done ice baths. I'm not getting an ice bath. And a lot of it was just because the boys felt uncomfortable getting in their undies. I said, well, jump in your clothes. Get in your clothes, they'll be fine. Like, it is what it is. Like, but what it was taking them out of their comfort zone. Something that they've never done before. And they're like, well, it's too cold, we'll never do it. And once it's done, you sit there and ask the question, well, how'd that feel? And it's just like, you could be a completely different person. It's like, well, they've done that now. Like when we do the beep test, it's like, well, they're like, well, what's the score we've got to get? I don't care if you get one. One's a pass. But if you're happy with one, that's for you to be on. That's for you to worry about. But if we do it again the next time, you're beating your score. You've got to beat your score. By 1 or by 10, but you're beating your score. I won't be happy with not beating it because we're going to train and we're going to get better and we're going to get fitter. But it's just about like giving them that little bit of a win each day or each session or each goal to go, well, I've achieved something.
Yeah, like improving, making small incremental improvements. I'm just trying to think, like, even to that little bit of what I asked you around. Okay, this version of Todd Carney popping up at a previous version of Todd Carney. It's not about just popping up. It's about, it seems that it's the everyday thing, the everyday things that start to get people to be influenced and be, you can have a positive influence on people by being there every day.
Yeah.
It's a week to week thing, and they're not probably always going to listen all the time, but they'll start to listen more, and then the trust gets in. So actually, you know what, he's onto something here, and a lot of the results would happen without them even realizing.
Yeah.
They're not conscious of the fact that they're making positive change. And some results would be invisible because you never know what that kid would be like without this positive influence. They would go off on a different path, perhaps, but you've slightly steered them towards a better path, and it's about those everyday interactions, that everyday environment that it looks like you've set up for them.
And it's trying to, obviously, you can't change everyone straight away. And like I said, the story about Brian Smith, like I look back at that, I was 23, but I'm only thinking about it now when I'm 37. Like he's ingrained something in me to think about later in life. And that's sometimes the topic I say to the boys, like, don't be 37 and think when you're 37 going, oh shit, I should have listened to Todd. And the things I tell them, it might not be right, but it's the way I've lived and the things I've experienced. Don't be sitting there somewhere in a lonely spot when you're 37 and going, I should have listened to Todd. Or what Todd said that day shouldn't be popping up in a negative, it should be in a positive. And like the story with Brian is, it's a negative because he said that to me at a negative moment in my life because I was not doing the right things. And he put it straight to me. Was there evident to see your car was a mess, your life's a mess? 3 months later, I was out of the club, or 4 months later, I was out of the club. Like that, so I was going that way. And I've got moments in plenty of things, like Matty Elliott used to say things to me that I think about now when I first come into first grade. Like, but I took them in because I remember them.
Yeah.
But they didn't stick because, I don't know, like someone always says to me, well, why now do you finish footy, and if you'd done it when you were still playing, you'd probably be this and that, but I wasn't ready. Something wasn't pulling me that way. Like I had blokes that I looked up to saying, you probably shouldn't drink. Do you think I listened? No, because I had to navigate it for myself, or had to, I don't know, maybe I was just pushed that way that had to go through those windy roads to get to where I am today. And I said it the other week to someone, I wouldn't have the job I have today in the position I'm in if I lived a normal life. Yes, I'd be in a different place, but I'm set up for doing the job I'm doing because of the things I went through.
Yeah, and I don't think it's unique in youth to feel that way, to go through those what's the right word, like wilder years, I guess, and have that look back and arrive where you are now and do the work on yourself that you've done now, and then look back and be like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know, but you're in a good place now, which is the important thing. I know plenty of footballers, and probably myself included, where I know I drank too much and partied too much, where it's like, and I don't drink as much now. And it's funny, like, now that it's over, you kind of look back and like, probably nudged it a bit too far on certain occasions. Mate, even, I'll never forget going back home, and I don't know if you remember him, Sean Long. Yeah. Like, we were at a function. I was like, you having a beer? Come on, let's have a beer. And he's like, oh, I'm off it. I was like, what? He's like, oh, I'm training for a charity boxing match. So he's doing like 12 weeks off the drink. I'm like, mate, you would never have done that when you were playing. And he's like, I know, but I'm really up for this box. I don't want to get embarrassed in this boxing match. Yeah. He goes, oh, the ironic thing is, I was on Twitter pissed, calling this piss. Now I was like, fuck, mate, just have a beer with me. Like, he's like, nah. And like, mate, if you applied yourself like this to playing, like you'd never have 2 weeks off the piss before a big game.
Yeah, and that was the same when I done my charity fights. I was like 8 weeks clean eating, no drinking, ripping in.
Isn't that It's I know I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I know another guy that's training for a fight, ex-footy player. He's off it. He's off everything. I'm like, really? Like, now?
It's madness that, I don't know. It's, and like you said, like the version that you change, and like where I'm at now, I don't look back on my life and go, well, thank God that's over because it's put me here. But I'm in a way better place because of the things I'm doing. And as you know, well, once you finish, footy's a small part of your life. And I'm starting now to experience it's sad to say at 37, what life actually is. Like what it means to have a family, to like I don't really watch TV anymore, but like to drive around looking for a service station that's got cheaper fuel, or looking for specials in the supermarket. I never used to do that. I was on pilot. I'd just pull up and get fuel. Or when my mum or sisters or Susie would talk about the price of meat, I'd just go buy it and not think about it. But now I think about it, it's like, what's what Boyd said to me the other day, he goes, it's like you're rewiring yourself. And it probably is, because I was just on a trajectory of like living a good life of
when you're that way inclined, and I guess football clubs throw money at you, and you never really learn, because there's always another club that's going, I'll change him. We'll change, or a coach that's like, I'll change him, or we'll change him, or hang on, we clearly got this ability, and we'll manage it. And then there's a couple of clubs involved, so then the bidding war starts, and you walk away, you come into it, it's like, oh, okay. You never really, obviously you sat out quite a while.
And that's how it was. Like, but the time, say if you left the club or you're on the nose at the club, and then it comes on end, by that night, as we was talking about Riola, he would have someone ringing to go somewhere else. And then if it wasn't Australia, it was England or France. And that's how it was. I never actually sat down, and obviously I caught punishment, but I knew that like footy was what I wanted. There was never the money. I just needed to play footy. So like as long as I had footy, I wasn't like, the money wasn't a punishment to me. Not playing is a punishment. Not being around the environment of rugby league and getting that feeling of playing footy. Like, if I could live and do it for free, I would have done it. But obviously, the money was the bonus part of it. But that's like my mum.
Can it probably be? Sorry, go on. Sorry, go on, mate. Sorry.
My mum talks about it. She says some people would say, "Well, he's lost so much money," and mum was like, "The thing with Todd is he doesn't care about the money that he's lost. He doesn't think about it. All he thinks about is the footy. Like, it was never, and that's why I still probably play now. Obviously, I still get paid, not as much as obviously, but I would do it if I wasn't getting paid too, because it gives me something, a purpose, or gives me a feeling.
Gives you a thrill, right? Like, I know what it's like.
Yeah, like game day for me now is the best day of the week. The next day's hell for 5 minutes after, because my body's sore, and that's just with age. But if I could do it till I was 50, I'd probably do it. And that's like every year Susie goes, "You're going to retire this year?" 3 weeks ago I was, yeah. Now my body's not any niggles. It's like, might see who wants a old half, or who wants someone to coach or whatever. And I know what I'm like. If someone goes, "Oh, do you want to come help me coach?" Like Jeremy Smith's getting the runaway bay job, and he goes, "Oh, do you want to help out?" I'm like, if I help out, I'm playing.
Yeah.
And he's probably like, "I know that." And it's like, yeah, it's crazy that, it's crazy that I'm still doing like that. Like, I thought I would, once I'd finish, but it's.
Do you think in a way your career would have been easier if it wasn't a professional sport? Like if the money wasn't involved, like you say, you don't give a rat's about, you're not looking for the cheapest fuel, price of meat, so whatever, let's just get it. Like beers, you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got enough to get this next round, or might have to get some pre-drinks before we go. Like, do you reckon it would have been easier without the lucrative contracts?
Probably, because it's like, that's where I started with. It was like, obviously you're looking at it, the money, it's good. And it's gave me things that.
But for some, it's a bit of it's good. It is good, but for some, when you throw money in, when you've already got these distractions, it increases your ability to do it for longer. Yeah, and it sort of increases that dial of not really caring too much. Yeah, like if you've got money behind you, you can put that
Yeah.
Of course I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
party
right.
on down.
Yeah.
Where if you've got financial pressure, it might just be like, well, hang on, no. Well, it limits my ability to go do that.
Yeah.
And it also puts you in a bit more of a, well, I need to turn up the dedication because I want that. It's that chase for the big contract. But once you've got the big contract, that dials down.
Yeah.
And up dials there.
Yeah. Yeah, to work for it and make it hard, or even like 1 year contracts probably might have helped instead of longer deals, because track record shows I didn't last them. And it's like, I can sit and laugh about it now, but it's, well, not so much laugh.
Yeah.
It's just and sometimes it looks like smug because I laugh it off, but it's, now that I don't drink, I look back on it and I'm pissed off with myself of how I handled some things, because I think now, why didn't the penny drop and go, that's it, you've got rest of your life to have a beer and you can enjoy it then. But I didn't see it that way. So now it pisses me off a little bit. So like when, I still talk about the bubbler and things, but also don't actually make don't laugh too much about it, because looking back on it, it's stupid. And that's all it was. But it's just, yeah, it eats at me a little bit now that I don't drink, that I the shit that I let go of. Like, it's like, obviously I wouldn't be still playing now, but it would have been a lot better career. But it's, like I said, it's pushed me in a direction where I am now, and I'm glad I've done it now. Like, it's like
that said though, mate. Like you said before about, your playing career not being the be all and end all. Perhaps that within itself is like, well, like you say, you don't laugh it off, but it kind of will. It's done. Can't change it. I'm onto something bigger and better about family. Influencing young boys to be better versions of themselves, and without that experience and that past and that history, you don't get to, well, take the same level of joy on a personal perspective, but also have that influence, because if you're the goody two shoes, you're not in this position.
Well, that's exactly right, and just experiencing, like, as you said, life. Like, I didn't think about it, what was next after footy, for a long time. Even when I finished, I was just still, because I was coaching and playing, and I hadn't started my concreting business, and it was just like, I wasn't thinking about what's next, because obviously I was living in myself. I was living in my own fairy dreamland.
I don't think that's unique though. I reckon quite a lot are just like, cruising along, just not necessarily planning for the future.
No.
It's just
how it happens.
Yeah.
And it's scary. Like, retirement's scary now that I think about it. And all my mates are starting to retire. Like, Jared retired this year, Wade retired, and obviously Boyd retired a few years ago with his head stuff. But it's like, I don't ask him too many questions about it, but it's scary. Like, it's Piercy's retiring from overseas. Like, it's a new change.
It is weird without that thrill of the game and all the, like you say, when we spoke about the environment that you set up, like just disconnecting from that environment, and actually, we're not even disconnecting. Like you're cutting yourself away from it.
Yeah.
From the player perspective, anyway. Like, you can still get roles within a football club, but that playing it gets chopped off.
Yeah, it's gone. The feeling's gone unless you play a bit of bush footy.
Yeah. Hey, just on the not drinking alcohol, how did that happen? Because I'm assuming it wasn't just okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. There was some level of professional guidance to put you in that place, and just, can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so obviously, like through my whole career, I've struggled with the things I'd done when I was drunk. So that was a big kick in the gut. So like I realised that and I knew that. But then finishing footy, then just coaching and playing in Byron, not so much stuffing up. I haven't been in trouble with the law for God knows how long. But I met my partner. For the first year and a half, she dealt with it. She thought, well, he'll grow out of it, and this is just how he is. But then it just kept going, and she started to question it, not deal with it. And I had my little boy. We split up for 7 months, and then that was a big kick in the guts. And then it was like a cycle of 50-50 dad, I was calling myself. So I was a dad for half the week, and then he was with Susie. So it was, and then when I didn't have him, I was just, I was in a shit place. So, and then I would drink of a weekend, and then I'd wake up Sunday like, I'm not going to do it again. Like I'm feeling shit. So then that happened more often than not. And then I thought to myself, it's time to start to consider it. And me and Susie were talking about getting back together and things like that. And it just wasn't happening because I was obviously still drinking and she couldn't be around it. And then I had my sister and her my brother-in-law and the kids moved to the Gold Coast, and they were living with me until they found a place. And I'd started to notice it more then that was because I was with my brother-in-law, and then it was just more of that cycle of up and down. And then I went out for a beer one Wednesday after work. Nothing bad happened. Woke up the next morning to go to work, and usually my toothbrush is in the shower, but this morning was on the bench, so I must have brushed my teeth before I went to bed and left it on the kitchen, the bathroom sink. Got out of the shower and obviously to brush my teeth to go to work, and I physically couldn't look at myself to brush my teeth. So I sat back down the bed and rang Susie and said, like, I actually need to make a change. Like I need some help around this and how I'm feeling. And she was at work. She goes, look, just stay at home for the day. I rang work and told them, and they were really good about it. And I just needed to work out what it was that while I was doing it. So I went to rehab for 30 days, and I felt I didn't need it, but I needed to go there to show that I was serious about it, not for anyone else other than myself. So I told my close mates, my family, obviously my workplace, that I was going to get professional help, so I would stay on that road.
Were you entering like a facility, and if so, did you know, I need 30 days, or it was just I'm going indefinitely?
Nah, so when you sign up for 30 days, and then they sort of control how you go in there. So you're 30 days, and then if they recommended me to stay longer, I was going to stay. I would have stayed 3 months if I had to. I was prepared to do whatever. And that was the first time I've done it for myself. Like, if I come out of there, and me and Susie had a discussion about it, like if I come out of there and I don't want to be with you, or if we're not going to be able to sort it out, that was okay with me, because I was doing this for myself for once, where a lot of the times when I was playing or through life, I would do it for someone else. I was never serious about it.
Who would you do
it
for?
For the clubs, or for my family, or like just to get media off my back.
A bit of a box ticking.
Yeah,
like,
just to tick in the box. So, and then this time around, I was like, well, I'm doing it, and I need to do it because I'll never do it again. And then when, like, for the first week in now, I struggled because I couldn't see my son. I couldn't speak to anyone. But it just started to, like, when I got out there, and like I'm only 7 months out, 7 months into this journey. And And I know people look at me, and even Susie says to me, like, don't be too confident. Like, it's just, but I know what I'm like in myself. If I say I'm going to do something and I'm determined to do it, like I said to you before, like if a day at a time, and it's a cliche thing, but it's a day at a time that if I put the things in place that I need to do, I'm comfortable to know that I'll put my head to rest every night sober. Because, and it's not, I've got nothing riding on it anymore. I don't have big contracts. All I've got on it is letting myself down. And that's what I've found in this small part of the time, that I'm letting myself down. Like, yes, my son, my stepdaughter and Susie and my mum and sisters and my family are important to me, but no one's more important than myself. So like I'm selfish with the way I get up at 3:30, go to the gym at 4. If I don't do that, I'm a shit person for that day. Like I struggle to get through day normally. Like I'll be eating at me that like through the day. So Susie knows that. So she lets me get up and go, and then she'll do what she needs to do to get through the day. Like if I'm on holidays like this morning, I train a little bit later, like I prepare myself for it. But it's just like I need to be in control of my life around diet and stuff like that. If I get away from it, I just feel myself feeling shit. And not that I would want to go drink, but it just like I need to be in control of my life. And that's why I say it. It's because that's the most important thing is myself now. Like it's for the years of footy and from 17 to 20 years I drank for. Like I had a shit lifestyle. So like I want to change it all straight away. Obviously it's not going to all change straight away, but like one of my mates said to me the other day, you're rewiring yourself. And it's like I said before, I don't really watch TV. It doesn't interest me. Some people's conversations don't interest me. I would just clock off. I find myself scrolling more on my phone just to find them little things like motivation things or listening to people's stories that are going on the same part of me. Like Tyson Fury does it, Mike Tyson, listen to some actors and stuff that have gone through it. And the more I talk about it, the more people I find that are doing the same thing. Like it's not like sometimes when I thought about it, I was like, well, who am I going to hang around? Like, what am I going to do? Like,
well, I guess if it's alcohol is and whatnot, it's a big part of people's social life, and it does make you feel different.
Yeah,
and it does help. I don't know you personally, but I've spoke to people about you, like Dave Riola, and he's like, Todd's an introvert. Like you're close to yourself, and then the alcohol makes you this person that's not more fun to be around, but just different to be around, and more socially aware, more sociable.
Yeah, and that was like, and that was the good part. So I say it the way I put it is, if you had 10 times when I drink, 5 was good, 2 was average, and 3 were disastrous. No one wanted to be around me. And those 3 was the ones that got in trouble, the ones that am I going to come home, or like who's going to have to look after me? Like to me, mates would say in the end it was like we were babysitters. Like we couldn't enjoy going out. Like so it's
like would it just take on a life of its own?
Yeah. It was just like, and I couldn't control which one it was. That's which was the shit part. Like I said to you before, like it's just, and then it was like a little kid moments. Like when me and Susie got together, she goes, "Oh, what time are you going to be home?" It's like, well, I don't know. Why are you asking that? Well, she had every right to. She's my partner, but I didn't see it that way. I was like, well, if you're asking me to be home at 10, I'll be home at 10 the next day. And that's like looking at it now, it's like, fuck. No wonder she left. Well, no wonder she didn't put up with it. Like no one should. But that's what I thought was normal, which is, and it's crazy to think that, but
Why did you think that was normal?
I don't know. I honestly don't know why I thought it was normal. If it was because I've lived this life, you haven't lived it. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's good that I can realise it now, because that's like that makes me realise that I'm in the right place. Like, if someone was doing that, a guy in the rehab said it to me. He goes, picture you had a 28-year-old daughter and she started dating Todd Carney at 34. How you were to Susie in the first few years. Picture that if that was your daughter and she come home and that was happening. I said, well, I'd wring his neck. I'd want to, I'd see red. And he goes, well, there's your proof that you're in the right place.
Mm. Yeah, well, that's pretty powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like it was different. Like mine, I don't know. Like I said, I thought because I wasn't doing nothing wrong, I wasn't getting in trouble with the law, that everything was okay. But it was just that was because I was trying to justify what I was doing. And until I learned about it, I thought alcoholic was someone that had to drink every day. I didn't have alcohol in my house until the weekend that I knew I was having a beer, but I was planning for it all the time. Friday afternoon was a reward. I'll go for a beer. But when my workmates would go home at 10, I would go hang out on my own maybe, or go find a party and meet up with them again the next day when we all go for a beer or a punt.
Yeah.
But they're in new clothes, I'm in the same clothes. Or I put a hat on thing to try and hide that I'm still pissed. Like, it's crazy to think and that's the thing that Dave said, to go places, I would put a hat on to hide myself, but 5 beers in, the hat's backwards and I'm probably getting dragged out. To try and, I don't know, try and feel comfortable, I'd get the beers into me just so I can, the alter ego, I still call myself my dad, Daryl. Daryl comes out, fucking, here he is. And that was fun to be around sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's the word, sometimes. But then sometimes it was, whoa. And if anyone would say anything, come on, slow down. It's like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Don't tell me that. And then they'd either get the shits and I'd leave, or it would just turn to shit.
You know when you did all this work on yourself, did you look into why that's who you were becoming? Or was it just more strategies to not get you into that position again?
I do. I see a counsellor every Wednesday and we talk about life, growing up and the loss of my father and stuff like that. And she said that's got an impact. It's definitely got an impact on the way you are. But she just said that it's who you are. You're an extremist of with training. And she said you got to be careful now that you don't. As you said, you're in control of your life, but you don't get too in control of your training, and it shouldn't put you in a bad mood if you can't train. But she goes, you're just trying to work out what's good for you.
Yeah, is that where it's you don't want to become addicted to training?
To training, yeah. Because I still need time for everyone else. But at the moment, I'm comfortable with it because it's keeping me in control. I'll change, I reckon. It'll work itself out. But at the moment, I'm comfortable with. I'd rather be doing that than what I was doing.
Yeah, cause I've spoke a person who I speak to, and he gives the analogy of, you need to control it. Don't let it control you. And that's kind of what can happen.
Yeah.
With anything, both positively and negatively, where that just completely controls you.
But a lot of the stuff that I got out of the clinic or rehab was when I left there, you had to do 90 meetings in 90 days. So like a meeting every day, AA meeting, which was difficult for me. Difficult for anyone that was a public figure to go into a new place and AA and just sitting around in a circle and identify, well, hi, my name's Todd, I'm an alcoholic. And then people eyes looking at you, they're thinking, what are they? I would think, wonder what they're thinking, but everyone's in that room for the same reason, because they've struggled with alcohol through their life. So they're not sitting there thinking, oh, is that Todd Carney, the footballer? But in my head for a while, it was like, when I was driving off, I'm going, wonder who they're going to go tell. Well, who cares who they tell? Like, it's life. Like, there's AA rooms across Australia full for the reason that people can't handle alcohol. It's not scary. It just should be like, it's there. That's what it's there. It's there to help us. And so I do try and do as many meetings as I can now. My routine fits it, I'll go. Try and do every Saturday, Sunday, Monday mornings and a Wednesday, just to keep me in check.
That structure and routine is really important, though.
Yeah.
I know we talk about, or we just said about the training, like not controlling you, but that structured routine around training and positive things in your life is so important.
And that was the same as footy, because we had structure and routine of when you got to be, what time's training, and this what it is. That's why when off season comes around, the structure goes for everyone, and obviously you've got a lot of freedom. And off season was obviously prepared to drink, and you go on your holiday, so that's where like the structure changes.
Time on your hands, just.
But yeah, I've got a structure of like in my phone of what I've got to do and where I've got to be, and I don't have it. If I'm late, I don't sort of get too worried about it, but I have to have it there. Otherwise, I'll just see myself going different directions.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break from this podcast to talk to you about AG1. Now, this is a foundational nutritional supplement that I take every single day. There's a lot of stress, a lot of noise around there. Nobody knows what exact supplements to take. A whole cocktail sometimes. That's what it feels like you need to. But AG1, Charlie, take care of it all.
That's the thing that I love the most. I've cleared out my cupboard. I've now just got AG1 packets on the shelves, and I love it. I have it every day, nice glass of cold water, and it's really helped me with my gut health. You know, that's something that I've sort of struggled with over the years, and so it's really improved me, that side of things. I feel like I've got a lot more energy, and I know it's been really beneficial for you as well, Jimmy.
Any athlete knows the benefit of micro habits, and this is one of those. You just get a small glass of nice cold water, 1 scoop of AG1. It seems like nothing, but over time, the effects build up, and you will feel the benefit, just like I did. My gut health was all over the place, and this is the best way to start. I started taking AG1. It's got all the key ingredients that you need, the vitamin C, the probiotics, the prebiotics, the zinc, everything that you think you need. The team at AG1 have formulated this supplement to take the stress out of it. All you need to do, the micro habit, every single day, and you will get the results later down the track. And as well, the best thing about it is, Charlie, tastes great too.
You're exactly right, Jimmy. It tastes delicious. And AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. And since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health.
AG1 is a supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs on a daily basis, and that's why they've been a partner for so long. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. We've got an exclusive offer for Buy Round listeners. So if you want to try AG1, you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs, which really do come in handy. You get those with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/buy round. That's drinkag1.com/buy round. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. I trust AG1. This is a product that I use each and every single day for around the last 18 months. I'm assuming this isn't your, like, what we spoke about, not your first time of trying to move into this position that you are now? And one might argue it should have been done a long time ago. And you speak about your career and looking back and not laughing, but did you ever try to get into this position now in the past or earlier on in your life?
Well, in 2010, I had a year off it.
Year off?
Yeah, didn't drink for the whole of 2010, and it was evident what happened.
That's when you won the Dally M, right?
Yeah, won the Dally M. So and then I look back on it now and go, well, why didn't you stick to it? Well, I went away and as they say, when you understand about it, is you give yourself, I'll try have a beer, it'll be different this time. Well, the first 5 times it was different, but then the 6th time it wasn't. Like I had a little bit of a slip up, and then it's like, oh, well, if you do it again, it's fine, so I can continue to do it. But then left the Roosters, and then obviously the same as at Cronulla, I had some time off it, and then everything's going fine. Oh, you deserve a drink. That little person on your side are going, oh, you can have a beer today. All right, well, I have that beer, but I'm conscious about it, so I can get through that part. But then all of a sudden, 5 times in, 6 times in, not thinking about it, not preparing for it, boom, something silly happens. Photo comes out like that, and that just happened. Like I didn't intentionally go out that afternoon and go, I'm going to go do the bubbler in the toilet and it's going to be on social media tomorrow, and all of a sudden I'm sacked. Like if that's the way I looked at it, it wouldn't happen.
No, of course not.
But I didn't think of it, and I didn't prepare for it. So then something along the way.
But you were having sustained periods away from alcohol.
Yeah. And that was just obviously sometimes just to get ready for the season or.
Right. So it was
yeah.
Do you think that did it come from you? Because again, you spoke
the times
earlier.
that come from me was the times that I would stick to it. The times that it come from someone else, where in 2010, Smithy sat me down and said, you got to have the whole year off it. And I'd agreed with it. I knew that that's what I needed to do. I just had a year off in Atherton. It was a new club. I was prepared to do it. I would have jumped through.
You were
hoops.
hungry. Yeah,
I was hungry. I was hungry.
Yeah.
And that's when you look back on it, and if you can rewind things and change them, well, from 2009 till now, I shouldn't have, or till I retired or whatever it was, I should have stuck to it. But I could. History shows that if I'd done that, and then like some players don't drink all season and then have a beer in the off season, and that's fine for them. But history shows for me that if I'd done that in the off season, I would have fucked up.
Yeah.
Because something in me and alcohol sends me over the edge. And everyone sends people over edge in different parts. But for me, in the public eye and the way I am when I drink, was bound for me to do something stupid.
Did you ever have any real hardcore strategies in how to avoid alcohol?
No. I just would do it through my own will.
Yeah, it was just pure willpower.
Pure willpower. And that's where now, with going to rehab, I've obviously got tools around it, but a lot of my stuff now is, one, the change in who I am, and the change that's everyone around me, my close mates and family and colleagues, the change in myself to them is what will keep me in this trajectory of where I'm going. And I will never tell people not to drink, and I will never say to people don't drink. I'll share my story, and hopefully one day, for my end goal is I'd love to be able to work with NRL, with younger boys about alcohol, but not telling them not to drink or what it is, but give them my story, and then if they need help with it, to talk to me about it. Like I can't tell them. You can't tell someone, I don't reckon, not to drink. They need to find out for themselves of where it's at, or give them the tools.
That's it.
It's
the
also
tools.
to let them know that. For me, I don't think rehabs should be frowned upon or glorified in the media if someone goes to rehab. It should be left to them, let them do it privately and let them have it.
I agree with you. I don't
But
think...
every time a player goes to rehab, it's in the back page of the paper. They're dealing with enough as it is. The guilt, the shame, remorse of going there and then coming out and there's a media following around like they've just done 30 or whatever the players do or whatever they've done it. They've just done 30. So for my instance, they've just done 30 days of myself. The last thing I would have wanted when I got out of there was a camera in my face. But it seems to happen all the time. And how it happens, obviously, media can get hold of anything. But they need to know, and the game needs to know, that it's the worst thing that can happen for them. If you want that player to be back playing next year at the best of his ability for our game, back off him. Stay away from him.
Don't report it.
Yeah, don't report it. Let him go through.
It'd be a personal thing as well, right?
Because
that even probably, extended family members would not be aware of if it's just happening organically.
Yeah.
Or away from the public spotlight.
Yeah, and even like when I first got out, like I was scared. Even before we started this, I wasn't going to talk about rehab, but it's a part of a journey that people should understand. Like even like AAs, like I say to people sometimes that are struggling with it, like mates or whoever, family. I say, well, just come jump in the room and see what it's like. If it's not for you, don't go back. But if you like it, just go pop your head in there. Like it's not for everyone, that's for sure. And then you don't have to share. You don't have to identify either. You can sit in the back of the room and just share by listening. But it's I don't know. But like I said, I would like to be able to be a voice for the kids coming through, because history shows rugby league players struggle with alcohol and it's sometimes a lot of it's around the position they play, the halves, because we're a little bit more wide different. Like you look
personality
types. Like I know you don't have to say the names, but the blokes that have stuffed up along the way, and it's what position do they play? And then in the other code of AFL, the positions or the personalities are very similar of the blokes that have stuffed up in the other code too. There's just I don't know. And then like I said, I'm only in a small part of my journey. Like that's for later on when I've got an understanding of it too. Like I'm still understanding what I'm like when I like away from it, but I want to get into like understand what it actually is that makes myself vulnerable.
I think you're onto something there when you talk about like the positions, personality type, personality traits, because there'd be no point you speaking to like everybody.
No.
But I think not to discriminate or not to single out, but there are some people that are more susceptible to these influences than others. With some, like, people would go, well, Cooper Cronk, like you'd never need to worry about him. But there'd be no point him talking to those people because he wouldn't have the same level of understanding of what it's like to be. Yes, he knows what it's like to be a halfback, but he doesn't know what it's like to be a halfback with those. Yeah, that style of personality and those traits and those things that can be triggered, the background that can, sometimes trigger you to put you on that certain type of path. And like you said, mate, sometimes it's very difficult to come back. That's the hard part. You go, I'll have a couple, first few, I'm in control of it. I've got this. Then hang on, it takes on a life of its own. And you'll be able to identify the kids that are coming through that are gonna
like once they're 18, they have a B. Clubs will identify them, and the last thing I would have wanted was to sent to a counsellor or to someone that's going to sit there and point at you. It's like, and I'm not trying to do it as a job because it's not what it's about, because I'm not in that section. But if I did go in that section, if someone said to me back when I was playing, go sit down with a player that's been through it all and got through the other side and just listen to his side of the story, go have a coffee with him.
Yeah, don't sit
there. Go have a coffee with him. Go for a game of golf with him and just have a chat about what he experienced and like how he was as a teenager and the things that he started to happen. Like mine, I didn't know, but my first few times I drank, I blacked out drunk and was a yahoo, and that wasn't me. And my mum says, you're a completely different kid. So we know, like, you know the kid that's going to go down that trajectory. And it's hard to tap him on the shoulder and go, you're going to be in the back page of the paper for the wrong reason one day. But I reckon you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
you can.
And it doesn't have to be the tattoos or the weird hairstyles or whatever it is. It's just...
Yeah. People would know.
Yeah.
You could make an educated guess, right? And you can do personality type testing, which can see which people are more susceptible to certain things in life, and also the welfare people at most football clubs would be like, okay, I can split this group up.
I've got a list for you.
Yeah.
Have a chat to them. Even like a phone, like it's. Yeah, it's and then some, even like around things like that. Like it wouldn't even be a monetary thing. It's just about giving back to the game that gave me so much. And now that I can sit and realise it from not the outside looking in, but from a clearer mind. Because a year ago, I didn't want nothing to do with that space because I thought there was nothing going wrong. But now I'm out of that headspace, so it's completely different. Like I'm open to it. Like it's powerful, and I can see it in my own kids at school. I can see it in my own family and friends and close knit mates that probably struggle the same as I do. You start to see the penny drop.
Mm. Is this something you're going to actively look to pursue?
Yeah, I will. Like I said, I want to get for me. I feel for myself that will make me feel more comfortable. I need to obviously sit down with the hierarchies of the game and apologise. That's why I feel I need to do it at some point, is apologise to, obviously, in my own way, I'll apologise to clubs, to the people that I let down. Obviously, the ones like obviously my coaches that dealt with me on that trail of the time, but then the clubs that showed faith in me, but also just the game. Like I look back at it now and I let people down. I let obviously the game that I love down, and the fans and stuff. And it's not for. It's more just to let that go. If I do that, I will feel at ease to move on from it. Like, because now I can walk around. I'm comfortable with myself that I walk around. Like, I don't have anything in the back of my head going, oh, what are people saying? Mm. I had that because I had I own things in my head going. So it's like, I'm clear about it. Like, I don't need to stress about my life or if I'm doing something wrong. Like, it's like I know I'm doing the right thing.
But that apology piece would put you at peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel that if the relationship was there, like I would love to be able to try and help, because as we say, there's going to be another Todd Carney that's going to struggle. That's just life. That's how it is. Like it's.
Yeah. Well, again, like even if you look at, the socio-economic background of most rugby league players from those rougher upbringings.
Yeah.
That again that can steer them, especially towards halfback positions.
Yeah.
and you go through a difficulty or a tragedy like you did in your life, which shaped you massively, like you've already spoken about, and then it leaves you in this vulnerable position where you're more susceptible to all these pulls on you, and then you throw in multi-million-dollar contracts and Instagram followers, and it's all a really nice recipe baking there, and
the instant fame of you feel you're someone like
and then I'm sure it was when you went out drinking, everybody wanted to drink with you, right?
Yeah,
come on, let me get you on. Have another shot, and it just it actually increases that likelihood of it taking on a life of its own. It controls you, you don't control it. Come on. Hey. You're the man, I love you. Let's get a picture.
That's it,
Doesn't need to be that way.
No.
I just thought you mentioned the bubbler incident. Do you know the person that took the picture?
I know now, like at the time, I didn't even know there was a picture being surfaced, like that someone had even took one. After I got in contact with him, he said that he'd sent it to his brother and his brother lost his phone, which however it got out, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I done it.
But you weren't committing a criminal offence.
No.
And I'm going to make an educated guess here that you've done way worse. But it obviously didn't surface.
Oh yeah, I've been lucky too.
Yeah.
And I'm not the one that say it. People always read some comments or people saying, "Oh, well, how did he lose his contract from what he done?" Well, I was a repeat offender, and I've admitted that the whole time. Like I had my time at Canberra and whatever happened, and then I had a year off, and then obviously went to Roosters, and nothing too much bad happened at Roosters. Obviously, I drank when we were on a club-imposed ban, and my relationship with Smithy sort of fell away. And like most people, Roosters ended up releasing me. Nick released me, and I went to Cronulla. And while nothing bad was happening at Cronulla, I was still things that could have surfaced probably that didn't. So I wasn't a choir boy, and I know that. Like everyone knows it. So the bubble is, like I said before, like it didn't come out for a week or two. Like when I first seen it, I was like, when even is that? Like, and I only realised because I had a split under my eye. So we played, I think it was the Saturday, and then it was the Sunday after, and then it come out the weekend after I'd played. So it was a week before. So my last game was Brisbane on this Friday, Saturday night. My best game I played for Cronulla. Then all of a sudden, I thought it wasn't that next day. It was the weekend before. So it was.
Forgive me for the lack of memory on this. Was it one of those pictures when people just ping it around WhatsApp, or was it sold to the paper?
I think it was sold to the paper in the end. So it went around. I don't know. I actually don't know. But it got so. I think Riolo messaged me and goes, "What the fuck's this?" Like, wouldn't have a clue. And I was the first to say, "Well, fucking, what an idiot." But then I thought to myself when I spoke to the club, didn't think I'd obviously get sacked, but for it.
I was going to say, like, what are your initial conversations like with the club? Like, look, there's a photo of me pissing in my own mouth doing the.
Yeah. So when I rang the club, obviously knew. So then Noisy come over to my house, and Wade and the boys were there, and like Wade was like, fucking not six again, play on, sweet. Yeah. Like, surely like he'll be playing this week, and then Noisy was like, I don't come to training tomorrow, and Wade's like, what for? Don't seclude him from the group. And then that next day, I don't think Wade ended up going to training, but then that next day, Wade was sitting on my couch, and his face went white. And he goes, did you just get sacked? I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, we just got a message from, what was his name? For our media manager. The time goes, Rob Willis sent the boys a message, no one comment to the media about the club's decision with Todd today. And I rang Noisy straight away. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, Wade's in. Then Wade said, like, mate, this is wrong. Like, what's going on? And then, went in the next morning. They'd already made their decision. Like, nothing had, which was, I feel if Flano was still at the club, he would have changed it because he was in the background with what had gone on previously. And he was like, he'd rang Riola and said, I'll try and re-sign him because he obviously knew he was going to get his job back, I think. Re-sign him and whatever, but it just didn't come about. And like I said, in the same stuff, within 24 hours, Dave was like, do you want to go to France? I'm like, sweet. So then was, well, straight away, how long there's not much of the season left. When am I going to go? So I was like, well, I was preparing for that again. So I went that same mindset, ripped into training because I knew I was going somewhere new, which probably wasn't the right way to look at it. But because, like I said, I didn't feel the punishment. The punishment was missing footy for me.
It is weird, I guess, looking back after all these years. Obviously, so many people want to talk to you about it. I'm here talking to you about it, but the only criminal activity involved was the person who distributed the photograph.
Yeah. So when the club did say, do you want to charge the guy or the police, someone, Riola or someone spoke about, do you want to charge him? Because if it was the other way around and it was a girl and then he was taken for, like, it's big trouble. Like, it could have been big trouble if I wanted to, but then the day, what was I going to do? Like, I don't see
well,
it that
teach
way.
a lesson to, well, like you said, teach someone a lesson. Like,
phones is a disaster for everything. Like,
yeah. So you actually successfully sued the Sharks for.
No. It come out that I got all my money back. No, it settled out of court, and I got. I think it was the rest of that year that I had. So it was the back end of the year. So,
but they illegally sacked you. They didn't go through it.
Like no, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't
have their due process.
No, I didn't sit down with the board, or it just was. And they reckon they had enough to go in and like would have been their say against mine. So,
well, I don't know if it would be though. It would be like you've put the Sharks into disrepute. Yeah, but look, I was just joking. Like,
yeah, and then I guess what I was disappointed was with that was how hard it was to get back. Like, why I couldn't just go. Like, I had NRL clubs from that night ringing Riolo. Dragons, well, we'll have him now. Like, that's what, and then I was like, same thing. I was like, well, I swear I'll just go and move down the road. I'll stay in this house. Go play the clubs that I'd been at trying to get me back. But it was like jumping through hoops, but it is what it is.
Do you think it was a bit of the culture around then? Like the NRL were on like red alert. They just were probably a bit of an overreach from the clubs in the NRL at the time. I guess if you look to incidences within the past couple of weeks in the NRL of a photograph that was accidentally distributed on social media, and that, you know, the not to put any blame on him, or we do compare naturally, but you know, a 1 game ban and a 25 grand fine. I know personally, I think I know what's quote unquote worse.
Yeah, and that's right. I look back on too. Even we look at the situation with Piercy with the dog thing. His was $200,000 fine, rest of the season off, and I think it just comes with, I don't know, the player, or I don't know, or the reaction of the media, how it's dealt with from the media, or who jumps on the bandwagon and who attacks it. Like, and I don't really like to talk about the past players' things, but like some of them that they get off with is a joke.
Oh, in the generations before.
Yeah, the last few things that's happened, like some of them, like I don't talk on them because I'm the first to put my hand up, so I've done stupid things. But some of them are just like they've just wiped hands with and moving on.
Well, forgive me if I'm wrong. Were the Sharks going through the Asada stuff at the time?
No, they'd finished.
They'd finished.
Yeah.
Do you think that affected the decision to move you on? It was kind of like we've had enough
I don't know.
of these stories.
I believe me and Noisy don't get along. Noisy had me at the Roosters.
Yeah. You think it was personal?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if he was sitting here, he'd probably half admit to it. And it might be just personal because he'd put so much work into me. He got me to the Roosters. He put some time into me there. Then comes to Cronulla, puts time into me there. He might have felt disappointed. And if that's the way it is, sweet. That's why I probably, like I said to you before, would like to deliver apologies to people in different ways. If it's a letter, if it's a phone call, if it's a coffee or whatever, if it's a sit down with people, however they take it would be completely up to them. But I know when I walk away from it, that chapter that I don't have to worry about because I've moved on and done what I need to do.
Yeah. Very mature approach that you're taking to it, and there doesn't seem any bitterness towards anyone. And
no,
I think obviously speaking with you, you get a sense that like you're taking ownership of this.
Yeah, I'm not bitter about it because I was the idiot. Probably before 3-4 years ago, I was like, I was hard done by probably because I was probably trying to justify what I was still doing.
Yeah, you reckon maybe 3 or 4 years ago you'd have saw the photograph I was mentioning and being like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I got this. Like, poor old me.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have. I would have been still kicking stones about it. When now it's like, not that part of me life's gone, but there's so much more to life than rugby league. For me, anyway. Some people still live and breathe it, and that's what they need. But like I said, I still play. But that was a past life. Like I said, it gave me everything. I still continue to work with it, and I want to work in that space and moving forward. But that chapter's done, and that's where I say with the things that I'll do to end that chapter will be. It might not be like a weight off anyone else's shoulder, but it will be for me. And that's what I said. That's the most important thing. Is the person that I wake up to every morning and go to bed. Like the things I say to myself in the morning and say to myself at night time. Like that's who will help for me to stay on this path. I would never do all this stuff and then next week go out and get caught at the pub drinking schooners, yelling at a fucking race screen. I'm doing it to keep myself accountable to live a better life.
Do you think this is if you were to ask who is the real Todd Carney, is this who it is? Like, do you think that was you think the party and stuff was a bit of a show?
Yeah. Yeah, it was what I was like, because I wasn't like it as a kid.
Yeah, like
I was
a bit of an
a kid that hung out at home and then teenage years was all I wanted to do was play footy, and that was ingrained to me from my dad. And I always say to myself, and it could be different. If he was still alive today, he would have clipped me under the ear my first time I got in trouble, and I probably wouldn't have drank, or I probably would have been different in ways, I guess. But yeah, so it's sort of like, yeah, maybe it is me. Like it's
like this is a more true reflection of who you actually are.
Yeah, because I don't have that erraticness of like the unknown. Like when Riolo says it perfectly too. Sometimes he talks about, he goes, the real people that know Todd he's the best person. Give him alcohol, he's a dickhead. Dave puts it that way. Like,
Yeah. Well, when I spoke to him, he's like, mate, he's just like super chilled, like quiet kid. And I was like, really? Like, obviously, because you get this, the media would portray you as like, you know, larrikin, life and soul. What were you like when you were like at training? Like, were you? Did you replicate like the sort of character you were at the pub where you're like?
Sometimes, depending on what front I was trying to put on. Like if I was in a good place, playing well and stuff. Like and I worked hard. Like I was always prepared to be tried to be the fittest at the club as much as I could. If my body would allow me to, and then just rip in. Like I love footy. Like I still watch all the footy now. I pick me like I say even sometimes, which is weird. I write notes for myself just for playing in Byron, like of what how players play. Like I watch Nico Hines heaps, the way he plays short sides.
Yeah,
obviously my speed doesn't allow me to jump down short sides anymore. But like I look at it and tell myself like that'd be like it changes on the game speed. But yeah, it's it's very similar, like loud and always wanting to win, and that's probably the way I was drinking too. Was I just wanted to be the
best,
front and center, front and center.
All right. Well, we've got 4 questions or 4 parts of the interview that we do for each and every guest. The first is the dream spine, 1679. It doesn't necessarily need to be who you've played with, played against. There's no real rules around this. So over to you.
Billy Slater.
Did you play with Slater? Or you just played against him?
Yeah, played against him. Billy Slater, Andrew Johns, JT, and Cameron Smith.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Did you play with any of those, or they were all?
And played an Australian game.
Oh yeah.
I played against Joey, which was.
Did your careers cross over?
Yeah, I played his last game at Newcastle. He was down in Canberra, and I was at Canberra. He was at Newcastle, obviously. Mate, and that was. That's just. I get goosebumps now thinking about it. Like
I can actually see them popping up on you.
Like, even when I talk about like Johnsy, and like I've had relationships with him, like with footy, and had a beer and that with him. Like, I'm like a little kid when I'm near him, which is like everything that he done as a kid when he was playing. Like when I was watching him growing up, I would try and do. Then to play against him or like even have a beer with him was just like,
what's going on?
Yeah, I could put him down as the most. Like I put Mike Tyson as the most famous person. Like I could put him down.
Yeah. All right. Well, if footy didn't exist, what do you reckon you would have gone on to do?
I wanted to be a hairdresser because my sister was.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, and I wish I probably did now. I look at Angus Crichton, he's got this barber and that, but and the money hairdressers get. But I don't know. I loved cricket. It would have been around. I would have been around something that a sport. But yeah, just I don't know if anything would have took me out of Goulburn. Like that's where I thought I would have Goulburn or Canberra. That's where I thought I would have stayed. Like I never thought I would be on the Gold Coast and doing what I'm doing now. But yeah, probably something around sport or like I said,
giving people fades.
Yeah. So it's just something I don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, this one will be good. A sliding doors moment that you think about the alternative. So for me, it might be, had I have stayed in England and what life would have happened there. I'll think about that from time to time.
Yeah, so there's 2 sides of it. So a slide door moment for me is obviously if my dad didn't die, of not what kind of person, because I'm who I am, I guess. But if I would have, I don't see myself leaving Canberra or doing the things I've done if he's alive today. Like I probably would have been a 1 club player, similar to Jared Croker, and stayed there. And then I guess the other one is the journey I'm on now, like in the small part of 7 months, like where I would have been if I didn't come to the realisation the morning that I decided to go to rehab, of where I would be now in the last 7 months of what would have happened. Like who knows?
Yeah.
Like I said, I wasn't doing nothing wrong, but like the wheels were falling off quick around relationship, fatherhood, work, family, like where I could be now in that small space to where I am now.
Yeah, wow. I think that just, well, obviously it goes to show about the influence that your father had on you, and then also just how important these past 7 months have been. That's incredible. You not obviously the first thing about your dad is it's sort of, I get that, but this in the past 7 months, it's especially knowing the journey that you've been on. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think for me the last 7 months, like I'm proud of myself for my footy career and what I've done, but the last 7 months I'm more proud to what I've done now than my whole life.
Wow.
Like just because, like, because from looking at now, like I don't think like alcohol was a big part, but I'm proud of myself because I didn't think that I would be able to do the things I'm doing now. Not because alcohol had taken over my life. Like I said, I wasn't someone that drank every day, but to get rid of it completely and not even bother about it is massive for me, and it's massive for like I know my sisters and my mum and people close to me still probably think, "Fuck, when's he going to have a beer or what's he going to do?" But it's just like, well, yeah, it's a pat on the back for myself all the time, and it shouldn't, and I don't reward myself like that because it's a journey that I've got to go on that's gonna have to be worked at daily, because I don't like, and I say it, I can't go back to it because it's the end, like I wouldn't try and then go back. Like it's either that or fail for me. And failing's not an option with it because then that's the end. Like it's the end of everything that is that I live for, which is obviously family and being a dad.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible, mate. Well, the last question, the most interesting person that you've met on the journey?
I met Mike Tyson.
Where and how?
When he come done his tour in Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was with a betting agency. My ex Lauren Eagle was sponsored by. I don't even know who it is now. Yeah, but he was at the thing, and I got to meet him and ask him a question. But yeah, he's a cool dude. Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Nice. All right. Well, mate, that just about wraps us off. That was incredible. I had plenty of notes and things where I thought we'd go, and barely needed them, mate. That was I really thoroughly enjoyed that chat, mate.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate having me on. Like I said, this is a space that needs to be talked about. It doesn't have to be glorified. It's just for people to touch on it, and that's why I like to talk about it. It's a part of a journey, and if I can help someone along the way that will watch this, which is why I feel it's good for any story, I'm happy to always talk about it. So thanks for having me.
Well, I think I appreciate it, and I know our listeners and viewers do, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to talk about these things in an open and honest manner, because it's easy to just forget the past, forget who you were, go off in this trajectory and like, oh, I'm just going to be on the Gold Coast and do.
Yeah.
But it's actually important because you have an ability to influence people to be better versions of themselves.
Yeah.
By
Which
talking.
was the easy option for me to live on the Gold Coast, be my job, and like I said, nothing was going wrong, and just continue how I was. But I needed to, like I said, something happened that I needed to make a change. Not even if it was to help anyone. It was just to make a change for myself first and foremost. But what has happened around that has changed everyone. Like, yeah, so it's, yeah.
Yeah. All right. No worries, mate. Well,
Thanks,
we'll
mate.
let you get back to the airport, get up to the Goldie.